Hey girls. You still have water. Good. Hi. How's my girls? Good God, look at the flies on you. But you got some shade and you licked the salt thing off the piece of wood. Okay. So they're actually drinking. I rarely see them drink. It's gonna be a lot less hot soon, girls. You guys getting a cool rinse? It's very hot. It's gonna cool down though tonight. Well, I just opened up a new area for the pigs. There's very little that is as satisfying as opening up a new area of weeds for these animals who eat weeds, and they prepare the ground. So this is where I just moved them to. Okay, and they actually still have access to this because I have to move tanks and stuff, and I'll do that tomorrow morning. That's what they do. Now, first rain in the forecast, significant rain in the forecast, I will seed that. So that will look pretty good. And, you know, we're gonna start growing some grass. So the pigs have been here literally 3 hours, and there's not a single apple left under this tree, but there's plenty of apples on the tree. So they really found, they are so, it's like so amazing to see these animals just really eating the kind of food they evolved to eat and just exploring. And they've already started to root. And again, if you don't want a messed up pasture, don't have pigs in it. Unless you want to try those Idaho pastured pigs with the turned up noses, which my friends got. But right now I want them to root. I want them to disturb the soil, and I want them to eat the roots of saplings and other things. Oh look, she found some apples and she's eating them. And of course, any apples that fall outside the fence I will toss in. But yeah. They are so happy. Everybody's taking it easy. The two sets of girl sheep, ewe lambs, are still in their cliques. I think we may need cold weather for them to come together. And the boys are over there in the sun, and they have done a number on that paddock. And this paddock was incredibly and totally wild just 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just like that field over there. And now the animals are excluded. So we're gonna see what's gonna grow. And I think the grass that's been here in the under canopy is gonna get a chance to actually regenerate and build some roots. Wow, it has been quite an intense week, and it's only Thursday. It's Thursday evening, the sun is setting, and my lens is smudgy. But we got all of the ewe lambs together and they're being a little huffy with each other. They're a lot closer than they were. And the new ones are in the long area, and my old buddies are wide open. Sheep definitely choose a campsite. They definitely choose a place that they like, and they just keep going back there. For a while, my girls were right in this corner here. They hung out there a lot, but now they've moved a little bit. And the idea is to keep them moving, to not let them be in the same place all the time. And in a way, life does the same thing. Uh-oh, here comes the Sunday message. Everything in life keeps us moving. The minute we think we have it figured out, or the minute we get comfortable, life throws us a move. Life changes the paddock. And most of the time, if we were honest, we would admit that it's for the best. But just this week, a friend of a friend came home from being away, and her husband was taking a nap when she got home, so she didn't wake him up, and she didn't disturb him for several hours. And then she made dinner and called him to dinner, and he had left this realm and gone ahead back to source while he was taking a nap, which to me is the way to go. Maybe going while you're having great sex or making great music, might edge that, but just going in your sleep, that's something excellent. That's something really good. And I've been trying to solve the conundrum, the puzzle, the riddle of what to do with my open cow, Tinkerbell. And I found a place that, not horribly far away in New York State, that has a bunch of young bulls that they haven't castrated. And I think it would work to get a young bull on the job and see what he can do, and either send him to freezer camp as soon as I'm sure that he's done his job, or keep him a year so that he can service the girls again next summer. Working on that, and the landowner and I hadn't really discussed beef, because I wasn't thinking about beef. I was thinking basically pigs and sheep. But then friends of mine had these 2 cows, and they were available, and they're exactly the breed that I've kind of come to decide is the perfect size, the perfect disposition. They don't have horns. They're really cool to look at. They're very visually stimulating. And so I don't want to support an open cow all winter, and I don't want to turn her into Hamburger, because she's had calves before, and so she's in the prime of her life. I want to take advantage of that. I want to start building a herd of these kinds of cattle. That's one of my long-term strategies, is to get known as a breeder of amazing sheep and amazing cattle for the small homestead to starting farmer, scaling up type people. And I want to do meat. Those are 2 streams, 3 kinds of meat. That's 3 streams, right? It's actually 6 streams if I end up selling sheep and piglets, right? Lambs and piglets, breeding stock, whatever. Those are things that I could pursue for the rest of my life. and it's a perfect balance with my music, and it is my spirituality, and I see the Christ at work everywhere in this world. So, but it's not smooth. I've run into some snags also with starting the church. The IRS wants to see regular Sunday or whenever regular services, and I haven't started that because I've been so busy starting the farm, and they kind of are saying that the farm and the church have to be separate. The farm can be a wholly owned subsidiary or wholly owned business, a church-owned business, and all the profits can go to the church. Which to me is just splitting hairs. It's like, how many angels can dance on the head of a pin? It's all one thing. Everything is one thing to me. Like, we are all one. This universe, everything seems different. It's all one. We're part of this huge thing, and we're tiny. We're tiny, but we're part of it. It's amazing. And the weather has shifted. It was just beastly humid and hot, and then just in the last hour, it's turned drier. Last night it started cooling off, or yesterday started cooling off. But we're already in mid-August, halfway through the month already. Time is just ripping by. And I'm grateful for this opportunity to be out here in the weather, and I'm trying to keep this journal, this log, and really begin to develop a practice of weekly reflection. And these messages are, on one level, for me, because I usually watch them 2 or 3 times. So whatever message I'm really trying to give myself, or whatever I'm trying to learn, it helps to reinforce that. And these messages are for you. If you are spiritual but not religious, and you're just wonder at the amazing world that you live in. My background is Christian, and I attempt to be a disciple of Christ. But I find myself really cringing at a lot of what people call Christianity. Christ came and said, God is love. The kingdom is within. And I repeat that because, to me, that's the core belief. I had a friend at Princeton Seminary, Brian Stratton. He's now a Presbyterian minister. But Brian said, Mark, he grew up a free will Baptist, but he was from Kentucky, from eastern Kentucky in the Appalachian Mountains. And he pronounced it free wheel Baptist. He was a free wheel Baptist. And he said to me, Mark, I'm a fundamentalist. And the fundamental is love. That is Christianity. Anything else is just what people have slapped onto it. And if you need to believe that this man who is and was God, just like you and I are God, but if you think he was the only begotten son, if you born of a virgin, the whole Apostles' Creed thing, that's fine. That doesn't do it for me. That's too limiting, and I see how it's a construct put on by the later church. But the essence of Christianity is revolutionary. God is love. God is love, and the kingdom of heaven is in us all, is within. And so when things don't go our way, when we have challenges, when obstacles come up, when something seems to be stopping the flow, sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it's the best thing that could happen. Maybe it's perfect. And it may be annoying and frustrating. But ultimately, It's about learning, it's about honing, it's about fine-tuning this thing that you're doing, whatever it is, this big thing that you feel called to do. And don't try to explain it to people. Just say, listen, I feel called to do this. I don't have a choice. And yet today, working through some of the frustrations of this puzzle I'm trying to put together that I wasn't even thinking about a month ago because I wasn't going to get cattle. But the spirit was like, here's some cattle. They're actually the perfect breed for you. The perfect size, the perfect visual, they're renowned for how wonderful they taste. They're adapted to grass, so they can eat weeds. They're just a much larger version of what the sheep are doing. And we want to eat the forbs and let the grasses begin to take over again, right? So we have to cut through the fluff and the clutter in our lives so we can get down to the core, to the basic, that it's perfect. There's a cycle. The grasses feed the herbivores, and the herbivores do for the grasses what the grasses can't do for themselves, keeps them in vegetative state. They trample so that the ground begins to be more like a sponge as it absorbs and holds water. And as the microorganisms begin to break down all of that carbon combined with the nitrogen and other goodies from the animal's manure, and we have two different kinds of animals. So the different nuances of their manure and the different minerals that they're craving will eventually amend the soil. So it's all perfect. It's a cycle. It's perfect. But there's life and death in here right now. Spiders and flies and worms and bacteria and animals, herbivores, and all of the creatures that inhabit their guts to help digest this food, right? This is all one thing. It's all one thing. And everything is perfect. And the flow continues when we accept that sometimes the river has to go around a rock. Sometimes a river has to change course. Sometimes the flow has to reflect what it is flowing over, through, or around. Why does it work out better than you can possibly imagine? Why do the obstacles fall away, leaving the instructions, the manual, the learning, the sweetness, the gift that they bring you? Let it in, relax into it, let go of what you think should happen. Let go of your fears around what could happen, because we don't know. Sometimes the danger is not what you think it is. Sometimes the danger is the way you think. And to practice recognizing that every obstacle, everything that brings up your stuff is here for your healing. And again, this is a message to me. And if it helps you, great. I freely share it. But what a gift. What a sacred place. What an opportunity to learn and grow. And I'm losing weight. Which is good. So that's it for this one. As always, sending out prayers. Sending out prayers to those who have lost loved ones, suddenly or over the long term. Prayers for those who are dealing or struggling with fear, with obstacles, with anxiety, with depression, with sadness, with loneliness. Prayers to those people. Feel the energy surrounding them, and maybe they'll feel it. But we all can relate to every bit of the human experience. So prayers for all of us. Prayers for those who know that we're here only a short time. Prayers for those who are oblivious to the fact that we are here only for a short time. Prayers to those who grow our food. Prayers to those who make sure the food gets where it needs to go and it's available for people. Prayers to the world. May we figure this out. May we contribute to healing the planet. May it start with me. May it start with you. Together we can change the world. Peace, love, grooviness. Amen. Strike a match on the side of the box, and the flame bursts into view. Did it exist a moment before, or is it something new? When the flame of the match catches a candle, is it still the same thing? Now blow out the match. Where did the flame go? Is it here or did it disappear? Is it still alive? If you close your eyes and imagine it spark against a darkened sky. Where was the fire before the flame? Where was the river before the rain? Where was the diamond before the claim? Where was the pleasure before the pain? Where were the verses before the refrain? Where was the fire before the flame? Did you exist before you were this? Before you dared the air? And where will you go after you've gone? When you complete your song, will something go on like day follows dawn? Like the ripples in the pond move on and on and on and on and on. When you breathe a breath from abundance you take, yet abundance still remains. Where was the fire before the flame? Where was the river before the rain? Where was the diamond before the claim? Where was the pleasure before the pain? Where were the verses before the refrain? Where was the fire before the flame? Where was the sun before it came along and left from my guitar? Was it a hum vibrating from some faint and distant star? Was it a thought here in my head that danced out to my mouth and hands? Was it a shout that rang its way out from some ancient time or land? Where was the fire before the flame? Where was the river before the rain? Where was the diamond before the claim? Where was the pleasure before the pain? Where were the verses before the refrain? Where was the fire before the flame?
fire before the flame? Where was the river before the rain? Where was the diamond before the claim? Where was the pleasure before the pain? Where were the verses before the refrain? Where was the fire before the flame? Where was the river before the rain? Where was the diamond before the claim? Where was the pleasure before the pain? Where were the verses before the refrain? Where was the fire before the flame? When you strike a match on the side of the box and the flame bursts into view, did it exist a moment before, or is it something new?
Well, there's been a big change in weather. It's cool this morning. A lot of movement this week. A lot of density and release. A lot of shifts. My boys are behind me. I moved the pigs. I moved the sheep, one group of sheep. We had a little bit of rain, but the river is really, really low. But in our lives, people, things shift, things change. And I wish you the best week possible. Just be aware that everything changes. Nothing stays the same. If it does, it's not good. It's good to have frustrations, to have challenges. Life will surprise you. Life surprises us almost every day. Blessings, peace, love for the week ahead. Let me know what you're thinking. Leave a comment below if you have questions. And the process goes on. We'll see if I get a bull this week. We'll see if I move in a different direction. We'll see how we can solve the solution to get Tinkerbell a boyfriend, or what else we're supposed to do. It's all about setting the intention, following the path, and then seeing what happens and letting go of fear. Letting go of the frustration, letting go of anything that isn't the way you think it should be, but doing so with love. Surrendering to a higher purpose and a higher path. That's it for this week. Thanks, folks. I love you. Peace, love, groovyness. Over and out. Amen. Thistles. You're so lucky you get to eat thistles.